Hi, welcome to What's Your Problem? I'm your host, Scott Farrell. Great topic today, especially for people my age. Now, it doesn't matter what age you are, but my age, it tends to be a little tougher. Today's question is, I've just lost my job and I'm devastated. So you have to sit and dissect that other than the money. So let's take money off the discussion for right now today. Let's look at it from a whole nother vantage point. Okay, so you lose your job. Why are you devastated? All right, so let's look at the reasons why people are devastated when they're taking money off the table. A lot of times people wrap their self-esteem in their job. Now, I know for men, our identity comes from our employment or our employer. When you get around men, what do you do? We start with our profession, right? Or who are you? We start with our profession. Now, a lot of women are the same way. I married a dude, basically. My wife always tells her she's a dude with boobs. But my wife was the same way. Her whole self-esteem and value and everything was wrapped in her employment. Now, in the fact that you hear extraneous things, I do live in a neighborhood. We film in a neighborhood, and we hear cars from time to time. Just in case you heard that truck rolling by a little while ago. But if your self-esteem's wrapped up in your job, when you lose that job, you just lost your self-esteem, which you don't want. You don't want that to be the case. And so that's one. I'm going to come back and handle that, but that's one. What's another one? Well, you lost all your friends. A lot of people's whole social network is at work, which is understandable. You know, I used to be an educator, and most of the people I knew I taught with, or I coached with, or so my social outlet was the people I worked with. And if you watch any of the TV shows, The Office or the European Office, that's their social network. All right, so I get that. It's what you always wanted to do. It's the company you always wanted to work for, and now they don't want you. Understandable. I always wanted to work for NASA. I never got to, but I did get to sit with the president of NASA one time on a flight. That was exciting. I got to sit and talk to him for 2 hours. And as a little boy, I always wanted to be an astronaut. So that was a highlight for me. I actually had tears in my eyes as an adult talking to the president of NASA. But it may be that, or it may be an expectation that was placed on you by family, and you've now got that job, and now that job's not there, and now you have this concern that you're not going to receive the love and respect from your family that you did prior to that. Or it could be a thing with a spouse. It could be the spouse wanted you to have that job, you screwed it up, or whatever happened, and now you're not there, and now you're going to get this when you get home. There's a whole bunch of reasons why people are devastated when they lose a job. But the number one reason people tell me, and I've been through this myself, is my self-esteem was somehow connected to that job. So let's solve that now. All right, I'm a pastor. Let's go ahead and say it up front. And my belief is God's placed us here with a set of talents. Our talents don't have to be connected to a job. They can be connected to us, and we can take those talents to any job or profession. Chances are you've got at least 3 talents that you could go pro in, whatever they are. I don't know what they are. I know what mine are, but I don't know what yours are. And you can use that set of talents anywhere. So don't just take your talents to one job and go, well, if I can't do this job, I don't have any worth. That's not true at all, because if God made you, you're already priceless to Him. And if you have Christ, now you're righteous. So, all right, so you got that going for you. Now you've got your talents. The great thing is if you've got that viewpoint and your self-esteem is not tied to that last job and you have an intact self-esteem, you get to do something that a lot of people never get to do. All right, now I'm not tied to that job. Now I don't have that 9 to 5 staring me in the face. Normally it's 6 a.m. to 9 o'clock. We know how that goes in the real world. I don't think I've ever had a job that I worked 40 hours. And now you've got an opportunity to go, what do I want? Regardless of age. Regardless of age, because if you're a believer in God, He can make anything happen. So make your list. What do I want? Let's say you're devastated at 45. I'm just randomly picking out an age. You're 45. Let's say you started with that company when you got out of college. So let's say you graduated at 23. So you've been with that company 22 years. That could be tough, but remember about companies. That company owns the job, not you. So that's not your job, that's the company's job, and they no longer want you to do it. Think of the NFL. If I get somebody who's a better quarterback, then I'm going to replace this quarterback. Same thing in the corporate world. It's really not personal most times. It is sometimes, but most of the time it's not personal. It's just this job's being eliminated, and unfortunately you're in it. Now you get to take that set of talents you have somewhere else. It's kind of like being a free agent. let's say you're in the NFL and you're a quarterback and you're really good. You're Tom Brady 15 years ago, right? And this team and this team and this team want to pay you more money. They want to give you the world, and you get to pick specifically based on what your spouse wants, what your kids want, what you want, the pay, all the things that go into your compensation contract. Well, you are now that number one quarterback that's now free agent. What do you want? Make your list. It's not going to happen until you decide what you want. See, sometimes that job loss is a blessing. Because now you can, for the first time maybe in your whole life, you can look at the world and go, well, I like to do that, and I like to do that, and I really like doing that anyway. And then you have to look and go, did I really like that job? Or was I doing it for the crazy money I made? Because so many people I talk to, they're married to the money, not the job. And that's why I said take money off the board for right now. Because there's no fun in doing a job we hate for money. And there's less fun in doing a job we hate for not enough money. And life's too short to do something you hate. So now job loss is an opportunity to get it right the next time. What do you want to do? Do you need more schooling? Do you need more training? Do you want to go back to school? Do you just need a new environment? Do you need to move? Do you need to go overseas? What do you need to do? What have you always wanted to do? This is your chance. This is your chance. I remember my wife and I was sitting with her, first time I'd met her, and I just lost everything. This was years ago. And I said, here's the great thing about making something. You can always make it back. And I thought she'd think I was nuts. What med's this guy on? But I said, I made it before. I'll just make it back. I've got an opportunity. I'm free. I'm free to go and remake my life again in what other form I want it to be. And I have. I decided I wanted to write books. I decided I wanted to do radio. I decided I wanted to do TV. And it took me in a whole different trajectory. And I got to do all those things. And I'm very thankful. See, had that event in my life not happened, I don't marry my wife. I don't have 2 best-selling books. I don't do syndicated radio show. I don't get a TV show. There's a lot. I'm not talking to you right now if that one event didn't happen. So it's all how you see things. All right. So you've lost your job. You're devastated. I get it. I get it. Trust me. But now scrape yourself off, dust yourself off. Now what do I really want? Throw some tunes on, get a cup of coffee or tea or whatever it is you drink, and sit down and make out your what you want to list. And go, all right, I want this on my list, and this on my list, and this on my list. All right, what do I want the rest of my life to look like? Let's say, again, you're 45. You want to stop working at 75. So the next 30 years, what's that look like? And now start living your life that way. I know if you're sitting there, you're going, well, he doesn't know what it feels like. No, I do know what that feels like. I don't know how you feel, because I ain't you. But I know what this situation feels like. I've been there. And everything that I just told you to do, I did. And it worked out great, right? So take it for what it's worth. I always try to give the best advice I can in the shortest amount of time for these little videos. But trust me, if you'll try this, it'll work for you. All right, that's enough for today. My name is Scott Farrell. Here's my website, scottfarrell.com, SCOTFERRELL.com. I do help medium and small businesses put their lives back together when everything goes to chaos, because I specialize in behavior. But I also help families and individuals. Now, I don't help everybody that knocks on my door, but I do help the ones that really need help and want it. All right, so just be up for that. And all you have to do is drop me an email, and then we can start a conversation. All right, next time on What's Your Problem, we'll have another problem to solve, and chances are I'm going to get it from one of you. All right, take care.